All right, all right, all right. I love those books. They stay the same and I just get old. Here we are. We're reading with Drew. We're reading Perloo the Bold by Evia. And we are currently on chapter 19. Perloo and Lucabara plan. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that they plan stuff. Okay? I'm a pretty smart guy. All right? I think I know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Here we go. Chapter 19. Perloo the Bold. When Perloo woke from a restless sleep, he discovered that visitors had come. There were new candles. The pre-bowl had been renewed, and on the other side of the room lay Lucabara. Eager to talk to her, he hopped up, but when he realized she was asleep, he made himself sit quietly, munching on the giant tasting prebe. While waiting for his companion to wake, Perloo attempted to sort out what he'd learned from his talk with Wenyato. Berwig's letter made it perfectly clear that he was intent upon leading the monomers into a war against the Felbarts. The question was, why? Rummaging through his knowledge of history, the best Perloo could come up with were the events pertaining to Grantor Wentlow. While it was true that most monomer Felbarts' wars seemed to be about territory, Perloo recalled the Grantor Wentlow, the Windless, when most unpopular, declared war upon the Felbarts in hopes that monomers would rally around him. His military adventures fared just as miserably as did his home rule. Happily, for the good of the tribe, he took ill and died peacefully in his smock. Oh, dry dust, Perdue mused. I suppose Berwig's attempting the same thing, trying to force the tribe into supporting him. Shortly after, Lucabara woke. What happened when you went off with the packmaster? She asked. I told him everything. Perloo, there are enemies. I'm not so sure, he said. He gave her an account of his talk with the packmaster, including Berwig's virtual declaration of war. There, he said, when done. Do you think it was wrong to tell Wenyono who I was and why we had come? We'll have to see, Lucabara allowed grudgingly. Lucabara, you live in the Central Tribe Borough. Did you hear anything about wanting a war against the Felbarts? Nothing, she said. Perloo told her about the Grantor Windlow. I think that's what this war is about, he said. Just a way to get the tribe to support Berwig. It is, if it is, it's Sineus's doing. You do know, she said. That he once was Jolene's first assistant? He was? What happened? It was Jolene decided we needed more freedoms, Lucabara explained. Sineus told her she was a weak grantor and that being widowed, if she coupled with him and let him take over, all would be restored to what once was absolute power for the grantor. Oh my, what did she say? She snorted in his face and dismissed him. Lucabara, if we're going to keep the war from starting, we have to do something fast. Fine, but how? Perloo thought for a moment. Then rather sadly, he said, I don't know. Lucabara took out the proclamation hat from her smock. If we could match this up with the other part, she said, and show it to the tribe, they would know Berwig isn't Grantor. I suppose. But that, continued Lucabara, means escaping from this place, going home, getting the other half of the proclamation, putting it together, and sharing it. Perloo shook his head. I can't do it. Why? I gave Wenyato my word I wouldn't escape. Perloo, they're Felbarts. It doesn't matter what you say to them. Lucabara, Perloo said softly. I like keeping my word. What about stopping the war? After a moment, Perloo said, if I ever really do become Grantor, I'll tell you one thing. What? I don't think I'd be very good at making decisions alone. All that sunglow, Perloo kept hoping that Wanyado would send for him and resume their conversation. No word came. The only visitor that they had was their jailer, an amiable, toothless old Felbart, who informed them that she had been charged with making the monomers as comfortable as possible. Ever so often, she came to renew their water, prebe, and honey. She even presented them with some grilled horse mint root and pickled milkweed, monomer favorites. During one of her visits, Perloo asked the old jailer if she knew where the packmaster was. She shook her head. I'm too unimportant to know of such high doings. Perloo, Lucabara said when the jailer had left them, I figured out how to escape. How? That jailer of ours, Lucabara suggested. We can easily overpower her. Then it's just a question of finding out our way out of the cave. But what about my promise not to escape? I think you'd better forget it. The two argued the question. Aside from his promise, Perloo wanted to wait more. Lucabara felt they must act immediately. Each had good reasons. In the end, they compromised. Perloo asked for another moonglow of patience. If by the early no word from the packmaster came, he agreed he would try and escape. Oh, that's the end of chapter 19. Planning. So, with that being said, that was a pretty quick chapter. But I think the next one's kind of long. But yeah, Perloo and Lucabara are at least together. You know, that's cool that they put them together. I think that, you know, I think Perloo not escaping will be for the best. And I think something happens where Wanyado starts to believe Perloo and trust him. And, you know, it's kind of the beginning of Perloo organizing things into not going to war with them, you know, just trying to treat, you know, this enemy as a friend, you know, and to, even though they're different, they have the same, you know, aspects of life, just like humans. Like, we're all the same. Why fight each other when we could group together as a planet and fight other planets that are different than us? I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that was a pretty quick chapter, but I'm excited to see what happens. If they really escape or not. I'm guessing that Wanyado will come down and something will happen, because if Perloo does escape, like he said, then that breaks all trust on his word with Wanyado, and, you know, the respect aspect. You gotta give certain certain respect to each other. You know, without respect, you're not gonna give it. So, but someone's got to man up and be the first one to give respect. It's like, who's gonna be the first one? But for me, I just give respect to everyone, because unless you don't give respect to me, it's a vicious cycle. But anyways, that was chapter 19 of Perloo the Bone. Be a lot cooler if you did read it and watch this video. Be a lot cooler if you did. All right. Anyways, have a good day. It's Tuesday, and this has been another episode of Reading with Drew. Peace.